green, green, green. Mic seems okay. Outside all ambient sound is on also. Looks like we're okay. Anybody here? Good day, good morning, good morning. One person, two persons, three persons. Hi, hi, good morning, gangs. Good morning, good morning. Okay, we're going to pick up exactly where we left off. This is Saturday morning here in Asaksa. Very, very quiet so far, of course. It'll be busy later on outside there today, but at the moment it's very quiet. We're doing one of the color blocks for the two boys' calligraphy print. I'm not sure what we should do here. The line cutting part is done. I switched to doing a bunch of persuading and then quit that to clean up here. But we've got to do more persuading. Anyway, let's do the quiet part first, whatever. So what today's plan will be, we'll be finishing this block and then starting the next one. So we're going to see a bit of everything. We'll see some quiet chisel work now for a while. Then we'll see some hammer work. And then I'll switch to the next piece of paper and do some more color separations. So we'll see a bit of everything over the course of the next hour or so. Show and tell, I have two things ready. I have that package that arrived the other day after the stream. But it's big stuff. It's down there on the wall, and I'd have to move the camera. Or I have an alternative. I brought another book from upstairs. We'll deal with it when we get there. No floating lamppost today. Oh, nice floating lamppost. Yes, yes. So, it's funny, when I set the camera up 15 minutes or so ago, there was bright sunshine. The sunshine was pouring in, so I had to put the camera to the left. But now it's become cloudy, and the camera could have gone the other way, but whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, where are we here? We're going to be cleaning off just the edge of this stuff. Let's get some of this done. You guys are going to have to provide a lot of the energy for the stream here today, because I really, when I got up this morning, it was like, do I have to do this today again? And not because of this work or because of the stream, but the last 2 days have been completely, totally taken up again with accounting and bookkeeping. We became a company at the end of last year, and it's now the end of the company financial year, and the accountants, just whatever. I hesitate to bring up the topic because, my God, if you could, I don't believe in heaven and hell and stuff, but if you could devise a hell for me, it would be going into a room every day and these guys with the suits and the briefcases and saying, okay, Dave, dot this I, please. And I'll dot the I and give the paper back to the guy, and he'll say, okay, now good. Now, cross this T, please. And I will cross the T, please. And this will go on minute after minute, day after day, hour after hour. And we're in the middle of that right now with the accountants. These guys like this. These guys like doing that work. I can't believe it. They like it, or they've sold their soul. Yeah, you and me both, Andy. I mean, I like, actually, I'm not sure what I say, because I like doing the numbers. I wrote the bookkeeping software, and I like having all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. I'm a kind of a control freak, so I like having the order and having things organized. But what I can't take is the way these guys do it to me, I just, wow. And there were some issues that came up yesterday. I'm not sure if I could talk about this. I guess it's okay. Tax issues in public, whatever. We're not doing anything wrong, so it doesn't matter. But an issue came up yesterday that has the potential to destroy our business, actually. we have income and we have expenses. And for years, ever since we started this, I've declared always every yen of the income. There's been no hiding, no secrecy, no playing games and no fudging stuff, whatever. It's just the simplest way to do things. Declare your income, charge expenses, pay your taxes, and get on with it. And that's been the approach I've taken for all these years. So no problem. So he's looking at the stuff now. He's looking at our income. That looks good. That looks matched. He asks to see photocopies of every single page of every one of our bank statements for the past year. This is a new accountant, and I can't say he doesn't trust me yet, but he's going to be signing these papers. And his reputation is on the line too. So he wants to make sure that the numbers I give him are actually okay. So he does the same kind of thing that a tax auditor would do. He says, okay, please show me now the actual physical bank books that match so we can see how the money has been moving. So Aoyama-san photocopied for him every page of every single paper bank book that we have for the past X years. It took hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Then some of the bank books aren't physical papers, some are PDF files. We sent all those across too. So no problem. So the guy vets this and checks this line by line by line. There's all your income. We get to the Patreon part, and he says, what's this? We explain. There's a thing called Patreon. Fans and stuff are helping us. They're actually donating stuff. He says, well, are you selling prints to these people? I'm like, well, no, some of them actually are customers as well, but the Patreon thing is actually, it's a gift from them. And we do, as a present, we send back, a few times a year, we send back a small print. And we've been booking the Patreon money 100% as straight income. We haven't hidden any of it. And he says, you can't do that. This is Japan. If people give you a gift, there's a separate gift tax. I'm like, well, wait, we booked it as income. It shows as on the profit side of our ledger. He says, no, but you didn't pay the gift tax. And I'm like, gift tax? We booked every penny they gave us as income. So in other words, we paid tax on the income. He says, no, there's gift tax. And just it goes round and around and around and around. So anyway, my head's just been full of this shit for the past couple of days, and it's hard to get rid of it. So today's going to be a sizing day. Once this work is done here, I'll be upstairs sizing with glue. And today's the worst day of the year for it. Hot, 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 hot day up there. Okay, I think that's cleared. He's cut. So the next part, again, for those of you who know what we're doing, we're going to pull out Mr. Persuader here, for a few minutes work on this. Yeah, the options for the Patreon thing. So we're going around all the options. Number one is make it so that people are paying for those prints that we sell. That then becomes, they're now subject to Japanese consumption tax, which we haven't been paying on them. So whichever way we do, it's a catch-22. Whichever way we try and do it. And believe me, that's what we've been doing the last couple of days. Option A, plan B, call it this, call it that, call it sales, call it subscription. The other classic thing about this is money from overseas. It's not subject to Japanese sales tax anyway. So even if we do, but just... Then the other one, there was a monster one that came up. The guy says, what's this inze thing? You've been declaring this as an expense. It's about $3,000 a month or so we've been declaring as an expense. I said, inze, it's the word that our previous accountant told us to use. This is royalty to the people who design for us. They design, send us designs, we make prints from it, and we sell the prints. And the money we pay to the designer as a royalty, we book it as an expense, of course. And he says, well, okay, but where did you pay the consumption tax on this? I'm like, wait. No, when we buy something within the country, we buy washi paper. Of course, we pay consumption tax, and away we go. When we buy something overseas, when I pay for my Amazon S3 bucket, or when I pay an American designer for royalty, we don't pay tax. He says, you're supposed to. Whenever you receive goods from overseas, it should be stopped at the border. You pay the post office or the tax people the amount of consumption tax on it, because all goods and services received in Japan are taxable. And I'm like, run that by me again. He says, it's a service. You paid $3,000 a month or so for the past 8 years overseas to this person, but you didn't declare this as a received service. You're liable for tax of 10% of that amount for every month for the past 8 years. He said, I'll amend your tax returns to put this in. And I'm like, wait. You'll do what? He said, I'll amend your tax return. And you'll have to go back and pay the tax for the past 7 years on this. And it will be the amount of 10% of about $3,000 per month. And he said, they will also, it's up to the tax people, they may also decide to hit you with a penalty because you have been making false declarations, you know. And I'm like, just wait a minute, just wait a minute, you know. And this is it. Once you become a company, and this is it. I've been working as private small business for all these years, and sort of nobody cares. As long as you basically declared your income, basically covered your expenses, you're okay. But now that you're a company, this is what I said, the dot the I's, cross the T's, whatever, and nothing goes untouched. And we now may, if he's serious about this, and if I can't convince him to do this a different way, I have a tax liability now, which amounts to some $500 per month for the past 7 years. And we just don't have, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. We don't have that kind of money, So I don't know. I'm sorry to complain. I don't want to talk about this, but that's what I've been doing for the past 48 hours, and here we go. Okay, let's get to some work. So it'll be just 3 minutes noise here, 3 or 4 minutes noise, and then I'll get back to the quiet work. So are you ready for this? I don't believe taxation is theft. I believe we have a wonderful society here. There's huge benefits of fabulous infrastructure. The trains run on time and all that kind of stuff. So I pay my taxes. I'm happy to pay my taxes. It's just a question of, what's the word? I don't know. Of analysis, each given transaction, whatever. Anyway. Confirm, Dave. Check. the green there. It's another stinker today. You know, I don't know the temperature. You guys know better than me, but it's so hot. Again, my shirt already is stuck to my back. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Switch to a smaller chisel, smaller gouge. We're on camera, right? I keep moving the view here. Still with us? Still with us? Give me another couple minutes here on the noisy stuff. Weather, weather, weather. Hot everywhere. Double it and add 40. Oh, yeah, that'll do, I think. And next step is get rid of this roughness. Every time I do some of that hammering, you know, I can't help think. We look at the statistics now. We've got a bunch of like regular viewers here. They know what's going on. That's okay. That's okay. But there's also the Twitch thing shows that how many people I don't know dropped in for a few seconds, whatever, and it's on the order of like 1,000 people or so each stream. You know, I don't see this or whatever live, but when I look at the stats afterwards, it'll show that maybe 1,000 people or so dropped in. You know, just like to see what's going on. And they stayed 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, I don't know. The longer term viewers comes up to about 200 or so for any given stream. It probably shows right now 150 or 200. But 1,000 people or so drop in just for a couple of seconds. And I can't help feeling, whatever, I'm sitting there banging that hammer, whack, 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 and somebody just randomly from some Twitch other stream drops in to see what's going on over here. And they see that noise and no talk and just whatever, and think, this is interesting. Like, people think this is interesting, and they're click, I'm out of here, Jack, and away they go. And so be it. And I can't help it. I'm not really worried about that. But it is fun to see that statistic that 1,000 people or so peeked in the door. They peeked in the door for a minute, and then bang, 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 or whatever, and they're like, okay, that's that for me. Back to my games, So. Whatever, things are what they are, and if you're not curious enough to hang around for a while, then so be it. The other side of it is I can't be everything to everybody, and when you think of all the people out there on Twitch, the millions of them, this really actually isn't interesting for most of them. So it's just as well if they drop in for a few seconds and then say, okay, I'm out of here. It's probably just as well. So. Yeah, it's the same as real life, right? People look in the window and walk by. So. I'm just mentioning this more in curiosity. I'm not worried about those people, or oh my God, I should have been more friendly to them or something. There's nothing I can do about it. Something else I could mention, I guess, today. What time is it now? It's 8:30. At 11 o'clock today, I have an invitation to go to a party, or to drop in at a party at 11 o'clock today. The party is happening over in Vancouver. So it's something, the party is going on. It's maybe a dinner party or a get-together, whatever, with some people. And at 7 o'clock or so this evening in Vancouver, they are going to do something. And they arranged with me to drop in on Skype on this party so that I could be part of it as well. It's my daughter who is pregnant, and they're having a special kind of party. I'd heard about this kind of event, but in my era, we didn't do that sort of thing. But in this era, it's become a thing. And she's pregnant. They're having a baby in October, and they're having a party this afternoon for a certain, not a baby shower, no, bingo, Andy's got it. She knows what's going on here. Andy is hip, or you've done it yourself or whatever. So they're having the reveal party tonight, and I've been invited to take part, well, to observe by Skype, so it's cool. I'm really happy she asked me, and she mentioned, so. No, I'm not going over to Vancouver. It's just by Skype. And what I don't, if I had been the one doing this, I'd make a pool, a lottery or something on this. But I haven't heard from her that they're doing that sort of thing. Everybody, you put your money. Well, there's only two choices, isn't there? So I guess, oops, or old-fashioned Dave here. There's only two choices. There's the email from my daughter reminding me, just excuse me a second, something more important has come up. It's an email about this. Soka. Yeah, my mother, I guess, has been invited to this, or I'm not quite sure. So my mother being semi-isolated, of course, right now from the virus thing. So whether she can attend this or not, I don't know. So. So the gender, I got to keep quiet about this because whatever, for my era, gender is gender, but these days it's something that I don't understand so much, so whatever. It's so today's gender reveal, and tomorrow we may edit this. I don't know how it works. So maybe even this is something they're not supposed to do anymore, you know. Don't talk about the gender. You might try and influence the kid or something. I don't know. Who knows? It's a world I don't understand so much anymore. So anyway, that's the plan for this afternoon. And if we're going to guess by traditional colors, I'm guessing pink, but whatever. It's actually funny in our family, you know. I know when I go back, I know our own family, my brother and a sister were mixed. We got a mixed family here, but I had 2 daughters. Then the woman I was married to, her sister had 2 daughters. Her niece had 2 daughters. It was like 2 daughters all the way back, no boys. And in fact, this was a real problem for my not my Japanese grandfather, my kid's Japanese grandfather, and that there'd been no boys, no boys, no boys, no boys, no boys. And he was really upset about that. So it was just girls all the way down. Then my wife's sister had 2 girls. So when my own daughter started having kids, it was whatever, the family tradition is just girls all the way down. But my older daughter had 2 boys, which were like the first boys in this DNA tree for years. So my second daughter, the one who is now pregnant, she already has 1 girl, and the question is whether it's going to keep the family tradition of always having the same gender, or whether it's going to get mixed. I don't know. Sorry not to pay more attention to this, to show. Excuse me. So we talk about the bucket. The bucket here, it's part of the design that we're not using on this color block. All the color blocks have the full transfer, the full image transferred, but each color block uses a different zone. This block doesn't use the bucket area. This block uses the kimono area. When I carved the bucket, the kimono got taken away. So it's just one by one, one by one. there. Tuk, 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 tuk. I think this one is done. One more bites the dust, ready for test printing. When it comes to the testing, almost certainly I'll find that perhaps some of this stuff on the outside needs to be taken back a bit more. Again, because I don't really want to make too much noise on the stream here, I've gone a bit light on this. I think probably some of this should be taken away. When we rub with the Baron here or the brush, it might dab some pigment here. So I think at some point I'll be cutting these back. This one's important too, the edge here to show. The edge of the retained wood, if I left that edge sharp, then later on when we're rubbing the rubbing tool to print this, it would bang on that corner and leave a mark on the paper. But anyway, there we are. One more block is done. One more done, one more done. So what have we got? Let's recap and see where we're at with this thing for a minute. We have a key block which has the outlines for the design. It also will need more trimming actually before we can start printing. It has registration marks, 2 registration marks, and outlines of the design. And we've been transferring that one by one by one by one. Yeah, the registration marks are right here. If I just take a piece of paper, again, I'm assuming there's new faces here that don't know what's going on, but let's have a look. If I put this down, imagine here that there's a piece, we're going to rub some pigment on this. There's a corner mark on this, and we would put our paper into the corner mark carefully, put it on that line carefully, and then I would rub with my rubbing tool. And that will put the impression, bingo, onto the paper. We've done this before, of course, I'm just showing you how this works. So the impression goes now onto the transfer sheets. Then for color blocks, like the one I just finished just now, this was a blank sheet of wood a while back. I colored in the spaces I wanted to keep, put it in the registration marks, pasted it down, and now carved it. So that it just goes one by one by one by one. So we've now reached the stage where we have the key block finished and 3 of the color blocks. This is a color block for part of the clothing. This is the color block for the background area behind the boys. You can see the boys have been removed. Pigment will go on, we'll print it, and it will print color on the background area of the print. This one, we talked about the bucket. Here's the color block that will print the bucket. Now, I have one more blank sheet of wood in front of me here, so let's prepare one more color block. There's probably going to be 6, I think, for this print. It's going to be a simple little print, but I think there's going to be 6. So using that blank sheet, let's prepare for one more color zone. And to make that decision, we're going to go back to the older print to take a peek at it. We're not making an exact reproduction of this, but we're making something similar. So there's the original that we're using as a rough guide. And this next block will be the kimono for the boy standing up. Have we ever thought about using a CNC? People are doing that sort of thing, of course. People who are interested in production, wild production, they're doing that sort of thing. We ourselves, for me anyway, and most of our workers here, the pleasure for us is the pleasure of doing the handwork by ourselves. It's actually quite efficient. It's not as fast maybe as computers or lasers or whatever, but it's a pleasant, efficient way to get the job done. There are people using those tools. Just we ourselves are quite happy doing it this way. Progress is progress, and all things change, and new ways of doing things come up. But it doesn't mean that just because there is a newer, quote, more efficient way, it doesn't mean we all have to change and stop doing it the old way. I mean, there are things as word processors and typewriters, but we're still allowed to sit there with a pen and pencil and write a letter by hand if we choose to, Then in a sense, that's what's happening here. Look at that little dot. Yep. Now this block, because this boy's kimono color is going to be basically a gray dark blue tone, we're also going to, can we zoom in a bit maybe, if I can get it under? I'm missing the conversation. I'm sorry. Is there something I'm supposed to be involved with? You guys just talking to each other? You're having a conversation. It's okay. No problem. Hi. Yeah, I'm using the red. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Teaching old dog new tricks. My stomach is rumbling. I haven't had any breakfast. It's whatever. I'm sorry about that. Nothing I can do at the moment about that. Tighten my belt maybe. Have I thought about scanning the print and printing it on a color printer? I'm not sure what you're asking me to do. There is an original print. I know the thing we are doing here, we are making handmade woodblock prints, which have a pleasure and a taste and a touch all their own. Anyway, whatever. What was I going to say? Okay, I said the boy we're doing here, the kimono is basically a gray-blue tone. And we need a bit of an undertone under the hair to help it come out. You can see actually where I've printed here. We did a print from our key block. And although the hair is black, it's a bit splotchy and uneven. And we're going to put a color undertone underneath the hair on both of the boys to help give the hair a bit of body and tone. So what we're going to do is the same color that I'm going to use for this kimono here, because it's a dirty blue-gray, it will do perfectly for going under the hair as well. There's our vacuum cleaner lady. 8:42, I guess that's her time, isn't it? So. And the other boy's sash is going to be the same color. And we'll do the same undertone under the ink stones to help make the black more dense. And then now there's a decision to make here. Let me zoom in to try and explain what's going on. The two boys have kimono patterns that are the reverse of each other. What the original designer did was this. for, excuse me, too far. Come on, come on. Okay. For this boy's kimono, and for many of the kimono in the picture, he did a solid color with a pattern carved out of it. You can see it clearly here. This girl's kimono was a solid vermilion color, and there's a white pattern carved into the same block. This boy had the same thing. Now at the moment I'm designing it solid. I will, after we're finished, after we've done our first level of this, I will go in and I will carve out in negative the pattern for it. But I'm not going to do it together at the same time. This boy, on the other hand, has a different kind of pattern. He has a base tone with a pattern printed on top of it. So this is not a negative pattern, it's a positive pattern. We see that also in other places on the print. This kid has a positive pattern. And to make this boy's positive pattern, I'm going to use the same color block for this one. So what I have to do now, at this stage is now, I have to draw that pattern onto this block. Or, what I could do is, because it's really light and delicate, and I can't really draw delicate work here, I'd like to print that out from a laser printer. So what I might do here in this case now is, let's do this. It might seem like a bit of extra work, but it's actually not so bad. I am going to include this whole kimono on this block. I'm going to do this whole kimono on this block. And what that will do, it'll get the thing carved, it'll get the shape roughed out. We then know where we need to be. And then after that's done, I will then print out from a scan of this. I will print out that pattern and stick it in the correct place on this carved kimono. And then carve away the part we don't need. That'll do it just fine. Excellent. It really is tough to follow the conversation and do the work at the same time, you know. I'm sorry. I'm missing most of what's going on over there. Okay, before I paste down, let me do a final check here. One kimono. Check, check, check. Let's get this here. I think we're good to go. Already good to go. Yeah, I don't want to apologize for not following the chat. It's a question of being interactive, you know. If there's questions coming in, I don't see them until they're gone. I see them at lunchtime when I'm reading and think, oh, I should have talked about that, and I missed it, and whatever. Actually, there's something else. Let me toss out an idea here, because I was thinking about this for the ohmy thing. As regular viewers know here, what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, I've been going out to ohmy for a while to do some R&R and relax in my house out there. And I'll probably be going out there again next week if I can. Maybe next Thursday. Next Thursday stream might be from ohmy. But what I wanted to do, and I haven't been able to do, I've tried, when I'm in ohmy, I've tried to move the camera outside and show what the stuff is like. But what I would like to do is, how do I do on Twitch what I see with the boys, I know, Tommy walking down the street. He's walking down the street with an iPhone or whatever, and he's streaming and talking as he goes. Now I have a couple of iPads here. Is there any software that I can run on the iPad out in ohmy next week, where I can put my pocket Wi-Fi in my pocket, grab the iPad, communicating through the Wi-Fi, and walk around the studio and walk around the neighborhood in ohmy showing you what it is? Is there software that will allow me to do that, to stream directly from the iPad through to Twitch and let you do this? And I haven't investigated that yet, but I better put the outside mic off. This is an ambulance. Going a different direction. That's the Japanese ambulance sound. It's not a fire truck, not a police, that's the ambulance sound. Someone says, I believe you can stream from the Twitch app directly. What's the Twitch app? I'm sorry, I'm new to the idea about using the iPad. But remember, the Twitch app is probably designed, you're playing a game on the iPad and it streams the game. I don't want to do that. I want to stream the iPad camera as I walk down and walk around and show you the river and the house. And if possible, see the chat so I can talk to you and show the camera view, not a game view. Well, the ambulance is there. Look at that, it came the other way. One day they'll come for me. Well, if someone is getting picked up, we don't need to focus in on it, I think, whatever. Such things happen. What's down that end of the street? Is it a Chinese restaurant? Don't know. It's across the street and down a block. There's a Chinese restaurant on the ground floor there. Unless they went down the side street. We can't see it behind the ambulance. There's a side street going down there. And because I don't see people around, I think they've probably gone down the side street. I watch your stream using the Twitch app on the pad. The same app will use the camera and mic to stream live. It's the three moment, the whole group, it's the three. Don't think about this. The whole print. Remember, I printed these all together last week. Speaking about the ambulances, I read in my newspaper that they have been super stressed, overstressed and used this week. I know the heat stroke thing. The heat stroke thing is really a thing here in Japan, and I guess some of the elderly people, whatever, they're in their room, they don't be too careful drinking, or the air conditioner doesn't work or something. And there's been a number of deaths already this week in Tokyo from heat stroke. You know. I have my water handy. So the ambulance people, they've been run off their feet, absolutely run off their feet. Zoom out. Okay, sorry. Hi. There's a truck parked just in front. It's probably the garbage for the hot dog place, right? He can't get down because of the ambulance. Yeah, that's the hot dog garbage man. He's parked his truck in front of my place because he can't get down there. I don't know why I'm trying this with this 3 stuff. I don't know, but whatever. Let's just see. That ain't a 10 out of 10, but for a 3, because it's a... So it can be done. The 3 can be peeled, sort of. So handicap for a 3. So with this 6.7 plus 2.5 for challenge. Thank you. You're being very kind. Very kind. Thank you. Was he's backing up. Okay, so instead of going down the street, he's just going to back up and go around the other way. Is it possible to rub the image off? Yes. If I'm careless here, and in my earlier days when I was younger and more foolhardy, that happened. If you put too much glue on the surface of the wood, and if you rub too much in one direction with your finger, and if you rub with too much pressure for too long, the paper will slide around or even sometimes come off. And in that case, you're screwed. That's it. You just simply have to take it all off, wash it all off, do another print, and start all over again. As long as before you start carving, you can, do this as many times as you want. The other danger is, again, if you're rubbing too much in one place, and rather than coming off, if it just ends up sliding a little bit, the paper will distort and it slides on the wet surface. And if you don't see it, because it's not distorted enough, you carve your block, you come back to print, and one of the color zone areas is completely in the wrong place. And that's because you know, a bit careless at the transfer time. The keg is still there. It's a different keg, of course. These guys are running around. Oh, they've got somebody there. Yeah, we don't really need to zoom in on that, but they've got somebody. They're putting him in the back. I think they went down the side street. So I don't have any idea who or what is involved there. But if I had to guess, I could guess heat stroke. If I had to guess the next likely thing, it would be an elderly person is in difficulty or is gone. I've never been inside an ambulance. I guess one day it'll be my turn, I suppose. No idea. Grab the street cam and run over for a close-up. I hope you're kidding, I guess, right? Yeah, John's got a point here. I will hear about this by the end of the day, absolutely. By the end of today, the neighbors will have been chatting with each other, and we will know what's going on there. But conversations. I'm printing with a printer on tissue paper glued to regular paper. Tissue paper, I don't know. I don't know, what can I say? If you've got your image, we use the Gumpy paper because it holds the image, and even when the thing is moist and there's glue involved, the image doesn't smear on the Gumpy. And the Gumpy itself doesn't distort and twist and buckle. Some of my first experiments with this 40 years ago, I didn't have Gumpy. I used a sort of a tracing paper. And wow, it was real cool. Tracing paper looks all nice. It's transparent. You paste it down, it absorbed the moisture and buckled and buckled and buckled. So whatever you use has to be able to survive the process of having the image put on it, glued down with moisture, and then hold up to your knife. You'll simply find out if it works or it doesn't work. Away you go. I also learned that for these transfers, we couldn't use inkjet printing for these transfers because the kind of inks used for inkjet printing also smear once they are being glued down. Okay, here we go. You've seen this a million times. Here we go again. Another color block, and away we go. Step 1, outline. Step 2, persuade. How many customers come into the store while streaming? Well, not recently, of course, because we were closed, but back when we still had a shop, it did happen a few times, right, I think. A few people wandered in earlier in the morning while we were doing this. These days, there's nobody out there to wander in, so no, it doesn't happen now. they seem to be in no hurry to get to a hospital. Eh? Interesting. Yin Yang Yin. Thanks for the comments. Very nice. Thank you. Keep making great content on YouTube. Oh my God, you're polite about that, but I'm getting emails now. Oh my God, I'm getting emails. Oh, ohayou gozaimasu. Ah, arigatou gozaimasu. Ah, onegaishimasu. Thank you. Domo. Hai. Nothing for you guys. It's a package of stuff coming from our ohmy workshop. These will be prints for the US of A. They're coming in for me to get ready for our next FedEx shipment. But these will have to wait a week because we just sent a shipment on Friday. Not Friday, it's a name. Yeah, Friday, last Friday, so it's been a week already. Soka, it's almost time to start the next one ready then. Soka, soka, soka. Time flies. So you saw he's too fast for my mask. So I know the companies have different policies. His company, Yamato, they have given up on asking for signatures. Finally, they have given up on asking for signatures. So he just drops it off and runs. But their competitor company, Sagawa, they still have stuck with the old system. They want signatures. So if it had been from Sagawa, he would have stood back. I got my mask on. He comes closer, gives me the paper. I sign it. Away we go. But these guys have wised up. Of course, common sense, you know. Yeah, someone's asking about videos for the octopus project. I know that didn't happen. It's my fault. You know, when I started the octopus project, I didn't want to put any of those videos on the normal YouTube channel in case it caused trouble. Our YouTube channel was thinking it was porn or something. So I set up a separate YouTube channel, whatever they're called, for the octopus. And I made the first one, and then just life and everything else got in the way, and I really didn't keep up with it, and I didn't get other videos made. They're on their way, are they? And out they go the wrong way on a one-way street. I guess they're allowed to do that. So anyway, long story short, I didn't actually get other videos made on the octopus thing. And a big part of that was because I wasn't filming it. I was doing the octopus here on Twitch a lot, but we couldn't film any of the interesting parts because of what it was. So no, anyway, long story short, I'm sorry, I didn't get other videos made for the octopus, and I should probably take that one down because it's a bit misleading. People are looking for part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and they don't exist. I'm sorry. How's the time? We're okay, right? Just after 9 o'clock. Honey, grab a breakfast bar. Is it that bad? I can't hear it. Really? Well, I'm sorry, but whatever. What can I say? I can take the mic off and hang it up somewhere. Here's a mic. Let's hang it up on the light. Testing, testing. Can you hear me now? I'm speaking over there. Maybe this will help. Sorry about that. Excuse me. What can I say? Yeah, I'm here working on this carving, and it's like one of those astronauts who is all wired up, and the ground control station is watching him do everything and pee and whatever. And was it that bad? You like the ambience or you like the ambulance? I don't know. Actually, part of it I think is, remember, I'm hunched over here actually, you know. And actually, it maybe just simply my belt is tight. I'm hunched over and the mic was right there. I did notice one thing about that sound. When I was listening to one of the streams the other day, played back a part of it, it seems I've been doing a certain gesture. I've been doing this, rubbing my hands. I didn't even really think about it so much, but maybe at the end of the stream, okay gang, let's see, now for next week, blah, blah, blah. I was doing this, and I was doing it right on the mic, and the hand sound on the mic was drowning out whatever I was droning on about. So that's something I've got to try and remember. When you do these things by yourself, there's nobody around to tell you what's going on. You know? I give a bit of a construction update. The shop 2 doors to the right of me, we have a kimono rental shop next to us, and next to that there's a place under construction. It's clearly going to be a street food serving place, and they've done a lot of work on the past couple of days. They've rebuilt the whole front, and the front section is now ready. There's people in the back building a new kitchen and stuff. We can't see that, but we can see the front section, and there's like a door for the people to get in the kitchen. Then it's counter. It's going to be a serve counter, so clearly it's going to be a shop that sells some kind of food stuff for people to then walk around town. And that's a lot of them now. We've got a lot of them on this street, and we're all curious, what's it going to be? Something tasty, something not tasty? I don't know. You can't ask, you know, if I stood outside watching the guy, it's okay to watch and work, but if I said, hey, what kind of food are you going to be selling here? Then you can't do this. You cannot ask. It's like whatever, secret party information, you know, maybe I'm a competitor or something or whatever. So nobody, he just says, if I didn't ask, but if I asked, he would just say, oh, should I not? I don't know. So I have no idea. If I was going to bet on it, I would bet it's probably another bubble tea place, because my God, they're still building freaking tapioca bubble tea places. I think at some point years ago, McDonald's was a thing. There was a McDonald's on every street corner, and then some years went by and it was then Starbucks took over, and you'd see Starbucks on 2 opposing street corners and stuff like that. And these days it's tea, of course. It's bubble tea. and they are still everywhere. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's have a look. Outside has become quiet. You still see the opposing Starbucks here. Not so much here anymore. Not so much here. Starbucks is, I think, their peak time here has passed. And, okay, let's have a look at a show and tell. Okay, as I said, there's two options for this, and the one was a very, very large pair of prints that we got the other day. They're still in frames over there. It makes no sense for me to try and show you now. We'll have an earthquake moving the camera. I can't talk to you while we're doing it, so we'll save those two big prints for later. I'm going to take them out of the frames, and we'll get them over here where you can see them, and we'll talk about them later when we can see them properly. So instead of that one, I brought something down from upstairs. Actually, I brought it over from Ohmy the other day. So I thought this would be a fun to show. And what this is, you can see at the moment, it's, boom, quite a substantial thing. It's a set of books. And this is the kind of thing that was possible in the old days, but now it is absolutely, completely inconceivable to do. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is go, or o. And when we talk about ocha, the word o, or gohan, this is the symbol, and it means honorable, polite, whatever. This has no meaning other than to say it's an honorable marker for what follows. And what follows is this. It's an old-fashioned kanji for country, koku or kuni. This is an old-fashioned semi-kanji, semi-hiragana for no, possessive, and flower. The honorable flowers of our country. And what it is, it's a book representing a 1 year of an Ikebana Club's exhibitions. And this is back in whatever, there's a date inside it. We're looking at around 100 years ago or so. And these must have been rich people. The housewives are doing Ikebana with some famous teacher. I don't know anything about the names and rank and serial number, but just by the fact that this production exists, somebody's got it. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This must have been a very, very expensive project. And there's an explanation at the beginning. They've got the spring part of it, the summer part of it, and then autumn and winter they put into one by itself. And I hadn't known about that, because when they have Ikebana exhibitions, or when you do Ikebana, spring flowers I guess are a big deal, summer flowers are a big deal, maybe winter it's not such a big deal, so the autumn and winter could have been combined into one book. And then they've got an explanatory text, which one by one, for each and every one of the flower arrangements here, has a massive explanation about what the person was trying to show and what the person was trying to do. Before I look at the prints, is there a date on this? There is a date on this. It's Showa 10, May the 26th of Showa 10. Showa 10, I'm Showa 26, 1951, so take 16 years off 1951, we go back to 41, 1935 to show. This is 1935, and actually there is a war on in Japan. The big Pacific War started in 1941-42, but Japan at this time was at war with China. Let's grab one of these to start with. And what the club did was they took their full year of exhibitions and commissioned a woodblock print company. They must have done this long in advance, and the people came and did their sketches or took photographs or whatever. And there is a page here for each one of the members. And here we go. And let's have a look at some of this. These are woodblock prints, carved and printed. And there are, what's the final total? Let me skip to the last page just to get the number here. The last one is number 220. So there are 220 woodblock prints here, and it represents 1 year of this club's Ikebana exhibitions, preserved for posterity. And they're clean and simple. Will not give a location. Here we are. They're clean and simple. Now, how realistic is this? I'm really not sure. They've simplified the tray in this case. We've got some water. And we can see it's a kind of a pine tree. And if we had a photograph, yeah, it's accordion binding. It all comes up. It's one single, if I had a long enough room, an aircraft hangar, we could open the whole book. It's, and there's 220 in the 3 books combined. So the 3 books combined are 220 pictures. And the interesting thing is, if we were comparing this with a photograph, which would show the object better? And it's an open question. Eh? What would you rather have? A photograph of this arrangement or the woodblock print of it? How many layers? Nay, it's outline, blue, brown, flat green, yellow touch, gradation on the yellow, 7, 6, red at the bottom, 8 impressions. And maybe that's about typical for these. And they're a little bit simplistic. And I'm really not sure which shows it. I'd love to have them side by side so we could compare. You know, here's the photo of this thing, and here's the woodblock print version of it. It would be really, really fun to have them side by side to compare. And we're not going to go through 220 of these, so let's just flip through a few from each season. Nice gradation on the water. Very simple, very clean. Oops. Just a nice touch of gradation. And I would imagine how they could pay for this. I would imagine the Ikebana Club members, as I said, they were probably fairly well-off people. They're paying to get the space in the exhibition. You know, the teacher doesn't pay anything, the students pay everything. I guess they must have had their consultations and got a quote from a woodblock workshop, and everybody paid. The red thing, it's interesting. I can't tell. The red here, because it's isolated, could be done either way. There could be a woodblock carved for it, and it's rubbed, or it could be pressed in as a seal on the front of this. Without being able to see the back, I can't tell. And I can't see the back because these have all been glued onto the backing paper that holds the book together. So I can't see the back, and I can't see the rubbing of the barren marks on the back of each one of these sheets. We know it's woodblock because we can clearly see the cut of the knife, we can see brush strokes here and there, and it's clearly a woodblock print seen from the front. There's an embossment effect as well. But that could be done either way. I guess somebody's saying here, with the print you can focus on the composition instead of the imperfections in reality. Again, I don't know how much they've cleaned up. Look at this, brush strokes. They've given us really what's the word? If this was a real pot, it would just look like a pot, but we can now see somebody's taken a brush and drawn a picture of a pot, and we can see the scratching of the brush. If we had the real pot, I think it would look nothing like that, but I don't know. Dave's interest in these, of course, is mainly from the woodblock. I know nothing about flower arranging at all. And yeah, the Hanko stamp would be, almost certainly, it would be the person who did the arrangement. Absolutely, of course. These people would have an art name. Absolutely, that's the stamp. And nothing to do with the person who drew the pictures, whatever. The reason I was looking at this in ohmy the other day, the thing that brought it into my mind, I knew we had this, it was on the shelf. Why did Dave look at this last week, and why did he spend some time looking at it? It's because last week I was busy in a hunt for this year's gift print. You know, the gift print, we did the owl, the Mimizuku a few years ago. Then we did a kingfisher. I forget what last year's was, I don't even remember, but we've been really hunting around and we wanted a killer item for this year's gift print. I can tell you right away, I didn't find it in this book. But I saw the book and thought, oh, Ikebana, maybe that would make a nice print for this year's gift print. So I pulled the deck out, pulled the books out, and flipped through them. And they are nice, and you could make a nice little print, but there's no way it would be a killer for a good gift print for us. So that idea got passed. But while I was looking at the other books on my shelf, I did get an idea, and we have now got our idea for this year's gift print. And today's Saturday, and by next Monday or perhaps Thursday stream, I will be actually carving it. So you will be the first ones to know. I won't show you the finished picture because it won't exist, but you'll be able to see me working on the carving. So the brush strokes, is it meant to imitate the feel and texture of some pottery? I guess so. I mean, you can see what they've done here. It's not all pottery. This person has used a couple of pieces of bamboo to set their stuff. So it's not all pottery. And of course, yes, we've been given a clean image that makes it look like a piece of bamboo. And again, the balance. How much is actual depiction of reality and how much is adaptation? I have no idea. And I really, really, really would like at least one of the photographs of these things to be able to compare. Also, I guess for people who know Ikebana, who know flower arranging, this would be an interesting window into styles of the pre-war period, because I'm sure Ikebana comes in styles and moods and stuff like that. And again, I know, of course, nothing. Here's a bit of a different one. Look at this. Here we go. This is a bit more involved. Gradations, gradations, gradations. There's obviously some, it's an Ikebana that is sort of a mood of a small forest. And they've tried to catch this. They've put gradations here, gradations there, gradations all over the place. This one would have cost 10 times as much money as the one we just saw. That's interesting too. Did each person have to pay in accordance to how much their own print cost, or was it averaged out over the whole album? I don't know. So it looks like a watercolor painting, do you show? It's a woodblock print, but it looks like a watercolor painting. Yes, someone's saying it looks very conservative and simple compared to what we see in a modern era. And I don't know, that it could be the era we're talking about, or it could be this school. Remember, Ikebana is very much split into different schools. And this school maybe is one of the ones that's based on having not so elaborate pots, and you focus on the plant itself. I don't know. And that last one we saw with the forest, that's sort of overlapping now into bonsai territory, I think, right? These are all clearly flowers, but in fact, when I think about it, let me go back to that one. That to me now looks more like a bonsai rather than Ikebana. Okay, let's just take a quick flip. Winter. What do the winter ones look like? Let's jump to nearly the back of the book. I think winter would just simply mean these are flowers that are available in winter, I guess. I don't know. What's this? They really are sparse, to show. They really, really are sparse. I can't say boring, excuse me, I don't know anything about Ikebana, but they are very, very much sparse. Look at this. So, is this Ikebana or is this bonsai? I guess if they were growing, if there's roots, it's bonsai. If it's just cut and stuck for a short display and throw it away later, I guess that's Ikebana, right? I don't know. How do you tell the difference? Oh, this is a fun one. Look at this. Look what they've tried to do with this. Even Dave can understand this. they have bent this branch or trained this branch or whatever. An Ikebana imitation of Mount Fuji. Right? Or am I reading into it more than is actually there? I don't know. I think if I saw that I wouldn't be quite sure. Has the guy bent this into that shape? I mean, with bonsai, you take your trees and you wire them up and you take them into different shapes. But with Ikebana flowers, you just cut and whatever. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. As I said, there's a description in the book and it explains it all, so I'll have a look at that later. Okay, enough of this, enough of this. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. The idea isn't to show you every single one. The idea is to show you the kind of things that did happen in the woodblock world in Japan in the days where there were so many craftsmen available, when it was so inexpensive to get this work done. A book like this was possible. What was it, 200, what did I say? The last one is number 220. It was possible for you and your club to publish a 4-volume set of woodblock prints, all handmade, hand-carved, hand-printed. Can you imagine the kind of culture that must have been? Or how rich those people must have been, just generally upper-class people, and how low the pay would have been for the craftsmen. It was that kind of society, you know. It wasn't a very egalitarian society. It was very much, it was still hanging on to a feudalistic society. Not the kind of place I would like to live. I much prefer a more egalitarian approach, even though something like this could never, ever be made again. So, whatever. Anyway, there it is. It's part of the collection. I don't think I'm going to scan and get these all online. We'll put the book up and scan a few of them just so people can get the idea about what it's like. Okay, here we are. It's Saturday morning. The schedule. I'm now doing sizing, bookkeeping. Next Monday, I may be still carving the same woodblock you're looking at today. Or next Monday, I may be working on the gift print. It may be ready for my bench at that time. I don't think I'll be in ohmy on Monday, but it's quite possible I'll be in ohmy on Thursday. And I'm going to try and figure out some way of getting an iPad or whatever and walking around to show you the rest of that workshop instead of just having the same view each and every time. Okay, thanks for dropping by today. Don't know how interesting it's been, whatever. I will enjoy reading the comments later on. Until then, stay wet. Avoid that little scene we saw a few minutes ago. Take care, guys. See you next time. Thank you very much.